to Mark Evans Coaching. I'm Coach Mark Evans. Today's video tip is about dehydration, fluid intake, gastric emptying, and we'll talk a little bit about carbohydrate intake as well. But I'm going to do this with regards to principles so that you can take away from this well-established principles for fluid intake and carbohydrate intake. These principles have been around for many, many years, and if you look across the spectrum of manufacturers, these are the ingredients and these are going to be the amounts that you're going to want to intake in order to keep balance, in order to keep functioning optimally. Well, let me start first by saying that training doesn't improve an athlete's ability to perform in a dehydrated state. You know, it's not something that you can train to become better at. Now, there are changes in the cellular level, your fitness, and so on and so forth that allow you to intake less carbohydrate, less fluid, but still it's within those ranges. The ranges are for fluid intake roughly 14 to 28 ounces an hour are well established and work for just about everyone. The key is that you want to do this in training. You want to figure out what that range is based on intensity, the duration, and your current fitness level. The point is that the ranges are there to help you not over intake or under intake your fluid needs. Take in too much fluid, the absorption rate, the release of fluids from your gut into your working muscles to cool your body lessens. Take in not enough, you dehydrate more than is necessary. One thing that's important to note is that most athletes, even the winners, will dehydrate. They will lose about 2 to 3% of their body fluids. But if you are weighing yourself, and I think this is an important point because I see this a lot out there, weighing yourself to determine sweat rates. Well, it's not just body fluid that you're losing body mass as well. And you can't replenish all the fluids that you lose. It's just not possible. Nor is it something you should try to do, because you will exceed these ranges, these principles that are very, again, well researched, well established, 14 to 28 ounces. Take in too much, your absorption rate's going to shut down. Too little, you're not going to be able to provide the right temperature regulation. So moving from that into carbohydrate requirements. Again, well-established principles, things that you can rely on. 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour. Some athletes can go a little bit less, but it depends on experience. It depends on the duration of activity. We're talking events of 2 hours or training 2 hours or more. Take in more than 60 grams an hour. Too much sugar in the stomach, delaying gastric absorption, will actually shunt the amount of fluid that can then be absorbed in the body. Not a good thing. So keep in mind those ranges. The idea is that use these principles and then in training find what works for you, depending upon the heat, the duration, the intensity of the workout. It isn't always the same. If it's cooler, humid, really hot, you're going to be at the lower or higher spectrum of those ranges. So keep that in mind. It's not just a one-stop shop type of thing. It's a range. But it's very important to think about staying within those ranges in order to maintain equilibrium and balance in your performance. And I think that these principles will help just about every athlete, and we've been using these recommendations for hundreds of athletes that we've coached for Ironman distance over the years. And you know, of course, most of our work is one-on-one, focusing on the movements, technique, and balance. And then for a smaller group of athletes, we work with one-on-one. And all of our work is primarily one-on-one. But the key is having these foundational principles that will help you in deciding this navigation through all the nutritional products and the sports drinks and how much. Keep in mind, there's based on an hourly intake of 14 to 28 ounces of fluids with 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate total. So if you're drinking a sports drink that has carbohydrate in it, and you're also taking in a gel or an energy bar or natural foods, you have to keep that in mind as well, because you could easily get over 100% too much sugar in the gut. So keep that in mind as well when you're training. But take these principles and then apply them to whatever products or whatever you like to take in. I'm Mark Evans, and I hope that this tip helps you make all of your movements better than the last. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you very soon. Take care.